Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Panachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Gopinath Radha गोपीनाथ राधे। जय श्री गोपाल श्री गोपाल श्री गोपाल, जय श्री गोपाल। जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव गुरुदेव, जय जय गुरुदेव। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Is my video on, Param Dayalu Guru? You can see the video. Okay. Okay. So we had last time begun the 11th chapter of Harinam Chintamani. So the 11th chapter speaks about the next offense, equating chanting with pious activities. Anya Shubha Karmera Sahit Nameka Tulya Gyan. So this is an offense, equating chanting with any other pious activity. So we discussed almost half of this chapter. So we'll just do like a quick recap of what we have been doing. So here Haridas Thakur explains that, my dear Lord, you are like the spiritual sun and your nature is completely spiritual. And whatever is connected to you is spiritual. So because Krishna is spiritual, Krishna's name, Krishna's abode, pastimes are all spiritual. Sarvatra Chinmay Tava Shri Vigrahaya Nama Dam Leela Tava Sampurna Chinmay. So here Haridas Thakur explains everything connected to the Lord is spiritual. So similarly, the holy names is spiritual, and Krishna's, especially Krishna's primary names. So what does primary names refer to? So primary names refer to addressing Krishna directly, not calling him as Ishwar Bhagavan, but as Krishna, Vrajendra Nandan, like that. So these primary names are non different than Krishna, and there is nothing material about it. So this holy name of Krishna descends from the spiritual world, descends from Golok Vrindavan and enters the mouth of a devotee, and through the mouth of a devotee, we all receive the holy name. So he explains anyone who thinks that the holy name is material, E Gyan Naam Laila Laile Tava Haya Tava Naam Name Jada Buddhi Jar Tar Dukka Gram. So this is the truth of the holy name, that the holy name is spiritual. If anyone thinks the holy name is material, such a person will suffer in hell for a very, very long time. So the next thing he explains is that different people, according to their different qualifications, there are different ways to attain Krishna. So the scriptures are given different ways. So in essence, there are three different ways: karma, jnana, bhakti. So people who do karma kand, they gradually attain Krishna purification. People who do jnana, they follow the jnana marg, and then the yogis. And then he explains that generally people who do karma kand, they may take shelter of Krishna, and they may have their desires fulfilled. So because people in this world are very fearful. So here it explains, Tumara sadhana kare shamaner bhaya. So this material world is a place of fear. So in order to get rid of fear and experience more happiness in Swarga, people worship Krishna. And what do the various performances that they do? He explains here: Ishta Purta Ara Yagyadika Punya Karma Snana Homa Dana Yoga Varnashrama Dharma. So these are the different things that people do, right? Worship different demigods, give charity, do yoga, varnashram, right? Study, austerities. All this they perform. Why? In order to ultimately achieve you. But they have certain material desires also. So he explains all these means. What are the means? The means is karma kand here. So through the means of pious activities, what they attain is temporary result, and they don't attain the true perfection. Rather, their perfection is delayed. So he explains here that there is a delay in the process. So punya karya, they may eventually attain Krishna through purification, but there is a long time that it takes. But the fastest way is the holy name. So therefore, he explains here there are two ways in which one achieves Krishna. One is the primary way to achieve perfection, and secondary way. So the primary way is the holy name. So therefore, he says those who are intelligent, Harinama je jagate dile kripa kari, siddhi labhe shishya jiva laibe ke vari. So those who are intelligent will take shelter of the holy name. And those who are not that intelligent, they will take shelter of pious deeds. And eventually, gradually, so he explains here, it takes delay in attainment of perfection. They may attain Krishna, but it takes a very, very long time. So the primary way is chanting, and secondary way is pious deeds, ya karma kand. Just like, you have Vishnu, who is the primary Lord, and then Brahma and Shiva are dependent on him, secondary. So similarly, the holy name is the primary path to achieve Krishna, and pious deeds are the secondary way. So then he explains the holy name is spiritual goodness. So there is a two different things. Material pious deeds are still material. Holy name is spiritual. So he explains here, we'll be coming to the discussion. See, there is the mean and end. There's a means and end. So generally people who follow punya karya, so their means is pious activity and their end is Krishna. So their means is material, and at the end they want to attain a spiritual goal. But for those who are chanting the holy name, the means is also spiritual and the end is also spiritual. So anyone who thinks that the chanting is material, that means as good as pious deed. So pious deed is material. So if you're equating chanting with pious deed, that means you're doing an offense. And where does this offense come from? This offense comes from Mayavad understanding. Mayavad haite ei nam aparad yahar duratmaya sada haya bhakti bhad. So this philosophy roots from Mayavad. So most of this wrong understandings, that one of the offense that we discussed is considering Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva to be one. That is an offense. And here considering chanting to be one with pious deed. So this is the problem with Mayavadis. They equate everything. But you cannot equate everything. There is a difference between chanting, which is spiritual, and pious deed, that is material. So I think we discussed till this point. No, we discussed a little ahead also. Okay, so then the next thing that he explains is holy name is both a means and goal. So we discussed this, right? So it is a means for those who are doing sadhana, and it is a goal for those who have achieved perfection. So those who have perfected sadhana and in sadhya bhakti, for them it is the means. So for us, the holy name is the means to achieve that goal of Krishna Prem. For those who are experienced Krishna Prem, they experience the perfection, they experience bliss, right? So he explains in the footnote, uh, chanting the holy name is the primary spiritual means, and performance of material deeds is the secondary means, right? So we discussed this point. So basically, what it means is the holy name is the means and it is the goal, both. So depending on our qualification, for those who are doing sadhana bhakti, for them holy name is the means, right? And those who are perfected, for them holy name is the end. They also chant the holy name. So the holy name remains common for both. But for those who are doing pious deed, they do pious deed, but pious deed is not the end. Pious deed is just a means to achieve an end. But the holy name is the means and end. So then he explains Shubha Karma Gunopaya Nam Mukyapaya. Material pious deeds are secondary way to attain perfection, and holy name is the primary way. So basically, he's stressing the same point again. And then he comes to this point that the holy name is beyond the touch of material senses. Right? Atha Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grayam Indriyai Sevan Mukhe Hi Jivado Swayam Eva Spuradyata. So the holy name is beyond material mind and senses. So in fact, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, all of them agree that what we chant, just chanting the names of Krishna, just that sound actually doesn't mean that Krishna is advented in our tongues. When we chant the holy name with service attitude, then only it is possible. So just like we can't force Krishna to advent in this world, similarly we can't force the holy name to advent in our life. We may be chanting the holy name, but it can be just a pronunciation of words. But when we actually have the service attitude, then only it comes. So therefore he explains, Sarala Hridaye Yabe Krishna Nama Gai Atindriya Sukha Ashi Chittake Nachai. Anyone who with a sincere heart chants the holy name finds ecstasy, happiness beyond the touch of material senses. So that means with the service attitude, with a sincere attitude, anyone who chants finds the holy name most blissful. So for this, because the holy name is, we are still in the stage of imperfection, we still have anarthas, we chant the holy name, but for all of us, holy name is like a medicine. Bhavo Shadi. It's like a medicine for us. But those who are perfected, like Haridas Thakur and all these personalities, they chant the holy name, they experience great bliss. In fact, they enter into the pastimes of the Lord. The pastimes of the Lord is revealed in their heart. The same holy name, because they are chanting on the stage of perfection. So we discussed till this point, right? So in essence, till what we discussed here, he explains how material pious deed is the secondary path and holy name is the primary path. Okay. So now he explains how happiness of impersonal liberation is a shadow of that happiness. Shadow of that happiness means what? Shadow of the happiness of chanting the holy names. So the happiness of Brahmananda, the merging into Brahma Jyoti, which is considered to be the greatest happiness by the Mayavadis and the Gyanis, it is just a shadow. Sayujya Kaivalya Sukha Ananda Sukera Chaya Matra. So this kind of merging into God is called Sayujya ya Kaivalya. So this is just a chaya. Brahma Gyane Yoge Ye Ananda Vaibhava Jadera Vicheda Sukha Chaya Anubhava. Happiness of impersonal liberation is only a shadow of the happiness obtained by chanting the holy name. So this all the scriptures explain that the bliss experience in bhakti is so high that the bliss of Brahmananda becomes very insignificant. Abed Kaivalya Sukha Shwalpa Bali Jani Krishna Namananda Sukha Bhuma Bali Mani. I know that happiness of impersonal liberation is very small and trifling, but the bliss of chanting Lord Krishna's holy name is very great and glorious. So this is Haridas Thakur's realization. So he's explaining The happiness of merging into Brahma Jyoti is Sukha Shwalpa Bali Jani. Very insignificant. So devotees are not even bothered about this. Real happiness is the bliss of chanting. Just like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you have the example of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was a great monist, right? But when he came in touch with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he forgot everything. So generally the Jnanis, they are very strict, they are very grave, they don't laugh, they don't joke, they don't act childish. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is like the guru of all the Mayavadis. But after meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he forgot everything. In Narendra Sarovar, when there would be this Chandan Yatra and all these festivals, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya would be splashing water on Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, like a young, like a small child. He forgot everything. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was laughing. Just see the transformation. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, whose heart was like rock, dry, logician, he is experiencing such bliss. You have in the Bhagavatam the example of Shukdev Goswami. Shukdev Goswami was already a liberated soul. But when he heard Krishna Katha, when he heard Bhagavatam from Vyasdev, he left that stage of liberation and he wanted to experience the nectar of Bhagavatam. You have the example of the Chatush Kumaras. They were liberated souls. But when they smelt the fragrance of Tulsi coming from the lotus feet of Krishna, Yasyara Vinda Nayanasya Padara Vinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayo Antagata Swa Vivarene Chakara Tesham Sankshopanam Akshara Dusham Apichitta Tanvo. So the Bhagavatam explains when that smell of Chandan mixed with Tulsi entered into their nostrils, they became so mad. They lost their balance. They lost their equilibrium because they were experiencing such bliss. So these were all liberated souls. But when they come in touch with the holy names and with Krishna, their bliss is on another level. So he explains Krishna Namananda Sukha Bhoma Bali Bhuma Bali Mani. So the name, the chanting, the bliss experienced by chanting, Krishna Namananda Sukha, is very, very great. So we may not have this experience, but at least we should have faith in the words of Haridas Thakur, his realizations. Then he continues, chanting the holy name is different from material pious deed. Right? So he explained there are two ways to achieve God. One is the secondary way, that is through pious deed, karma kand, and the primary way is chanting. Now, what is the difference between chanting and pious deed? Anya Shubha Karmera Haite Namera Vailakshanya. So, what is the difference? He explains here very clearly. Sadhana Kale te Nam Upaya Swarupa, Siddhi Kale Upayei Seye Aparupa. At the time of performing sadhana, holy name is the means of perfection. So, all of us, we are doing sadhana. So, for us, holy name is what? Upaya. It is the means for perfection. And at the time of perfection, when one attains perfection, holy name is a beautiful and wonderful goal. Siddhi Kali Upay Seye Aparupa. So same holy name, when we attain perfection, it will be the most wonderful experience. Upaya Swarupe Name Upayatva Siddha Anye Shubha Karme Aiche Nahe Ta Prasiddha. Holy name is both the means and final goal. Material pious deed are not the final goal. So the holy name, so the primary way, by chanting the holy name in the stage of sadhana, one will attain perfection where one can chant the holy name. So the holy name remains both in the stage of sadhana and the stage of perfection. For those who follow karma kanda, anya shubha karma, other pious deeds, for them material pious deed may be the mean, but material pious deed is not the goal. The goal will change there. The goal will become Krishna. But for us, the holy name is both the mean and the goal. So this is a big difference. Anya Shubha Karma Yata Sabha Jadashrita Namata Chinmai Sada Swataha Siddhodita. Ordinary pious deeds all take shelter of matter. So the first difference is the holy name is both the means and goal. Material pious deed, material pious deed is only the mean, not the goal. Right? Second difference, pious deeds all take shelter of matter. That means all pious deeds are material. Anya Shubha Karma Yata Sabha Jadashrita. So it may be in the mode of goodness, but it is not in the mode of pure goodness. That's why in our we were discussing in our morning Bhagavatam class, the third canto, the fourth chapter. It is explained that just by performing pious deed, one doesn't attain perfection immediately. Why? Because this is not a qualification. The qualification for bhakti is bhakti only, right? So that means you can't equate pious deeds with chanting. The equation is not there because material pious deeds are all, the pious deeds are all material. They take shelter of matter. But what is the holy name? Namata Chinmai Sada. The holy name is eternally spiritual. It is eternal and self-perfect. Swataha Siddhodita. It is perfect. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It is not different than Krishna. It is filled with all mellows and it is spiritual. Sadhana Kaleo Nama Shuddha Sunirmala Sadhakera Anartere Dekaya Samala. Even during the practice of sadhana, the holy name is always pure and free from any defect. The sadhaka's imperfections and anarthas only seem to color it. So we have seen that the holy name in the stage of perfection, one experiences full bliss. But even at the stage of sadhana, when someone follows the primary path of chanting, even when someone is doing sadhana bhakti, it's not perfected, still the holy name is always pure, right? The sadhaka's imperfection and anarthas may seem to cover it, but the holy name is still pure. That is why even when devotees, even sadhana bhakta, when they chant the holy name, others can experience transformation. Because even though there is imperfection and anarthas in the heart, but still the holy name is spiritual. Sadhu sange nama laite jada buddhi yaya anartha nishesha haile shuddha nama bhaya. By chanting the holy name and associating with devotees, the aspirant chases away all his material misconceptions. Sadhu sange name laite jada buddhi yaya. So someone at the stage of sadhana may have imperfections, may have anarthas, but if he continue to chant in the association of devotees, gradually all these misconceptions will go away. When his anarthas are no more, the pure chanting of the holy name comes to him. Shuddha Nama Bhai. So when he keep chanting, the same chanting becomes pure. Right? At our stage now, chanting is a medicine. We are doing it, in a regulated way, even though we don't have any taste for it, as a medicine, Bhavoshadi. But when we keep chanting, we will experience the same chanting will become nectarian. Anya Shubha Karmi Kare Tyajiya Upaya Upeya Parama Bhava Charame Ashraya. Abandoning all material deeds, at the end he takes shelter of ecstatic love for Krishna. So we have seen that means a sadhana devotee, those who practice bhakti and the primary means of chanting, they chant in the beginning and at the end also they chant. Chanting doesn't stop. So it's not that when we go to the spiritual world, we'll keep our bead bag, and no more chanting. I have done sufficient chanting of Hare Krishna. No, in the spiritual world, everyone is continuously chanting. But the other pious deeds, you do pious deeds, and as soon as you attain Krishna, you give up pious deeds. So this is the difference. Holy name is never abandoned. One never gives up the holy name, either here or in the spiritual world. But material pious deeds is only till you reach a certain platform. After that, you give up. So this is a very, very important difference. Kintu namashrayi jana nam nahi tyaje namer shuddhat matra siddhi kale bhaje. However, a person who takes shelter of the holy name never abandons the holy name. When he attains perfection, he attains pure chanting of the holy name. So there's a very big difference. Material pious deeds come with you only for a certain time. After that, you have to abandon and switch. But someone who's chanting the holy name, now also you chant, and there also you chant. At the stage of sadhana also you chant, at the stage of sadhya, perfection also you chant. Anya Shubha Karma Haite Ati Vilakshana Namera Swarupa Haya Apurva Lakshana. In this way, the chanting of the holy name is different from material pious deeds. So this is the difference. One is he explained how holy name is both the means and end, but material pious deeds is only the means, not the end. And second is material pious deeds are still material, right? But the holy name is spiritual, even though the sadhaka may have impurities, still the holy name is spiritual. There is nothing material about the holy name. It's not that when we attain perfection, the holy name becomes spiritual. The holy name is spiritual right in the beginning also. Even someone who has anarthas who chants, still the holy name is spiritual. It is just, it apparently appears to be covered up. Namera Swarupa Haya Apurva Lakshana. So these are the wonderful transcendental qualities of the holy name. Sadhana Dashaya Ei Vilakshana Gyan Guru Kripa Haite Hai Vedera Praman. By the spiritual master's mercy, even at the time of sadhana, one may understand the wonderful glory of the holy name. This the Vedas confirm. So what to speak of understanding the glories of the holy name at the stage of perfection? Even at our stage of sadhana, where we may have a lot of anarthas and imperfection, still, by the mercy of Guru Kripa Haite, by the mercy of Guru, even at this stage, we can get a glimpse of that wonderful glory of the holy name. So all this is, I mean, whatever little faith that we have in the holy name is all the mercy of the great souls, Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas. So how does faith come from? Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains it. Almost like the entire process from Adau Shraddha till Prema. From faith comes association with devotees. So this is very important, right? So from faith comes association, and in association faith develops. So both happens. Adau Shraddha tata sadhu sangha. So in order to come in association, you need little faith. That means you have to have done some amount of bhakti sukriti. And when your shraddha comes, adho shraddha, little faith, then you come in association of devotees. From association of devotees comes activities of devotional service. So from sadhu sangha, adho shraddha, tata sadhu sangha. And in sadhu sangha there is bhajana kriya. Again and again performing the activities of devotional service, one becomes free from anarthas. So in sadhu sangha, what happens? Bhajana kriya. The sadhus inspire us to perform bhakti. And what does bhakti means? Again and again doing it. So it's not that some new aspects are added. It's the same thing you have to do again and again, day in and day out consistently. When we do, what happens? We become free from anarthas. When anarthas are gone, one attains pure chanting of the holy name. So when anarthas are gone, so actual real bliss of chanting comes after anartha nivritti. Then only the actual some amount of glimpse of the holy name comes. This is the sequence of events beginning from faith and concluding in spiritual bliss. So this is the sequence. So this entire Harinam Chintamani and all the books written by our acharyas, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, they give this entire science to us. So if we follow it, then we will experience it. When engaged in devotional service by the spiritual master's mercy, one should have faith. So faith is very, very important. Faith that the holy name is spiritual, right? Faith that the holy name is different than material pious deeds. These all require faith. One who doesn't have faith will not realize all this. One who does not have faith commits an offense to the holy name. His anarthas increase. So faith is something that is very, very important. So then he continues. Sadhana dashaya ini ei jnana hina nama aparadhi tina ati arvachina. If at the time of sadhana one does not understand the holy name's glory, one is a great fool or an offender. So even at the time of sadhana, it is very important for us to understand the science of the holy name so that we have respect for the holy name. Nama sarvopari, nama tulya kichunai, ei drida vishwasa kari, ei nama lai. So what is faith? What is the definition of faith? Nama sarvopari. Holy name is the highest of all. Nama tulya kichunai. Holy name has no equal. Nama bina kichu nai ko ar 14 bhuvana maji. Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, there is nothing other than the holy name in the 14 worlds. Nothing can compare. Trinikritya jagat sarvam rajate sakalopari chidanandam maya shuddham harir namaiva kevalam. So the Kevalashtakam explains that if you put the entire world, material pleasures, Brahmananda, Sukha, everything in comparison to the holy name, everything will be like a blade of grass, insignificant compared to the holy name. The holy name reigns supreme. Rajate sakalopari. It is the king. So when the king comes, everyone just fades away, right? So just like the example Prabhupada, it comes in the Bhagavatam, as long as the sun is not there, it is dark, you will see a lot of fireflies. But as soon as the sun comes, all the fireflies disappear. I mean, their existence has no meaning. So similarly, all this Shubhakarya and all this is great. It may appear very attractive, but when the holy name comes, everything fades away. So the holy name has no equal. Nama Tulya Kichunai. He who has firm faith in these words may properly chant the holy name. So Haridas Thakur is inspiring all of us that this is how we should develop faith. Faith that the holy name is the only way. Harer Nama, Harer Nameva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva Gatiranyata. This is the only means for us. Achirer Tahate Haya Shuddha Namodai, Purnananda Namarasa Karena Ashray. Soon he attains pure chanting of the holy name. Achire means very soon. So someone, even at the stage of sadhana, who tries to develop this kind of mindset, very soon he attains pure chanting. He takes shelter of the perfect, blissful nectar of the holy name. Purnananda Namarasa Karena Ashray. So this is the real bliss that we are looking for. The nature of the soul is Anandamayo Bhyasat. We are all looking for nectar in this world, in Swarga, in Brahmananda. But the real nectar is in the chanting of the holy names. And Haridas Thakur is that one personality who tasted this nectar so much, and he's giving his realizations here. So if someone has done this offense, what offense? If someone has equated chanting with the pious deeds, it's all the same, So what is the remedy for this offense? Ei aparader pratikar. What is the remedy? Karaho yadyapi anya shubha karma sane nama sama buddhi haya duskriti bandane. If one thinks that chanting of the holy name is one of the many material pious deeds, one commits an impious deed. So this is interesting. If you have performed pious deeds, punya karya, and if you think chanting is equal to pious deed, that means you have done the biggest impious deed. Right? So duskriti, you have done sukruti, you have done a lot of good activities, but if you equate chanting with other good deeds, that itself is an impious deed. This impious deed is an offense to the Vaishnavas. So this is an aparad. The result of this offense is that one becomes attracted to the Mayavadis' mistaken ideas about the holy name. So this is how Mayavadi, those traces of Mayavad philosophy is there everywhere. So even in this great land of India, you'll find these little traces everywhere practically. It's like a contamination throughout most of the spiritual organizations, most of the philosophies. You find this contamination. It's all the same, whether you do this, whether you do that, whether you worship Shiva, Brahma, Krishna, it's all the same, right? So people feel that let's not offend anyone. Right? Everything is same, giving charity, chanting, whatever you like, you do, right? So these are complete wrong understanding. So these come from Mayavadi understanding, and when we keep focusing on this, keep re-strengthening it, slowly, our faith will shake away. So what one should do? By associating with devotees, one destroys this offense. So the remedy for most of the offense is association of devotees. Because alone it's very difficult that we can get rid of all this. Just like, tomorrow is the appearance day of Vrakreshwar Pandit. So Vrakreshwar Pandit is one great associate of Lord Chaitanya. He was a very intimate devotee. He was there with Lord Chaitanya in Navdeep, in Jagannath Puri, practically everywhere. In Gambhira, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would live in Jagannath Puri, Vrakreshwar Pandit would almost be there. Very intimate devotee. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he would sing, he would make Vrakreshwar Pandit dance. And it is explained that when Vrakreshwar Pandit would start dancing, he would dance for 72 hours non-stop. That was the love, that is how he would go mad in experiencing the bliss of chanting. So one time, the story comes when there was one one Bhagavad speaker called Devanand Pandit. He did an offense to Srivas Pandit. While giving a Bhagavad class, he offended Srivas Pandit. Because of that, he couldn't experience Krishna Prem. But what happened was, sometime later, Vrakreshwar Pandit had come to Fulia, and he was doing his kirtan. And Devanand Pandit, unknowingly, he did some service to Vrakreshwar Pandit. He was protecting the crowd so that he could dance more. And because of this service, and because he got the blessings of Vrakreshwar Pandit, finally Lord Chaitanya blessed him. Why? Because he associated with devotees. He had actually done an offense. He had offended Srivas, he had this Mayavadi understanding, but because he did service to a devotee, he was blessed. So to destroy most of the offense, association of devotees, then one attains faith in the holy name. So when we come in association of devotees, gradually these misunderstandings will go away. Say Duskriti Shaya Lagi Karibe Yatana Name Shuddha Buddhi Pabe Premadhana. One should take care to extinguish that impious thought. Say Duskriti Shaya Lagi Karibe Yatana. So one should try. Yatana means one should be careful, one should endeavor sincerely to get rid of all this wrong understandings. So Yatana basically means endeavor, being careful. So for all of us to understand all this philosophy requires a little endeavor. It requires a little strain. But this is how we get the right understanding so that we don't commit offenses. Then one will understand the holy name's purity. Eventually, one will attain a great treasure of pure love for Lord Krishna. So it's not that if someone is an offender, he has to eternally suffer in hell. The scriptures always have remedies for whatever we do. Whether we do sin, aparadh, there are remedies, right? Just like Devanath Pandit, he offended Srivas, but then there was a remedy to it. So similarly, if we have done this offense of equating chanting with pious deed, one should be careful and one should gradually uh, gain the right kind of education in association of devotees. अंत्यज गृहस्थ शुद्ध नाम परायण tahara pada duli dehe karibe vrikshana. So if one has done this offense, what one should do? One should anoint one's body with dust from the feet of an outcast grahastha who is devoted to pure chanting of the holy name. So if you have done this offense, what you should do? Fall at the feet of a devotee and seek his dust, even if he is an outcast. That means someone who is purely chanting is beyond the caste and varna. Just like Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur is one sense an outcast. He was a Mleccha, right? He was not born in the Varnashram system. He was a Muslim. But Haridas Thakur had such love, such pure chanting. Advaita Acharya, the greatest Brahmana, the leader of Brahmanas, would respect Haridas. So, when someone has this material understanding of Punya Karya, they are still in this bodily concept. I am Brahmana, he is Shudra. So we have to give up all this concept and focus only on bhakti. Kiba Vibra Kibanyasi Shudra Kenya Nyai Sei Krishna Tattva Veta Sei Guru Hoy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advised whether someone is a Brahmana, someone is a Shudra, if he has understood Krishna, he can be qualified to be a Guru. So one has to fall at the feet of such a devotee and seek blessings. So there is a footnote here. Rejecting the idea that a Vaishnava is a member of a certain caste, one should devotedly smear on one's body the dust from the feet of a saintly person devoted to the pure chanting of holy name. So pure chanting of holy name comes from the mercy of other pure devotees. Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro tomara shakati aanche amito kangala Krishna Krishna bholi dhai tava pache pache. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, this is the mood of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I am a pauper. I am poor without Krishna. And who has Krishna? The great devotees have. So therefore, we should go and seek their blessings. Prahlad Maharaj in the Bhagavatam explains, if someone wants to get bhakti, there is only one way. What is that? One has to do abhishek with the dust from the feet of Vaishnavas. That is the only way one can get bhakti. There is no other way. So Prahlad Maharaj is so courageous. He is telling Hiranyakashipu, your only hope is go and take dust from the feet of Vaishnavas and do abhishek, snan. That is perfection. Definitely, Hiranyakashipu is not in mood to follow. But Prahlad Maharaj, this is the conviction of Prahlad, that this is the only way for you. Right? And then, what else one should do? Kaibe adramrita pibe padajal tabe shuddha name mati haibe nirmal. One should eat the remnants of food that has touched the lips, and one should drink the water that has washed his feet. Then one's heart will become pure and one will attain pure chanting of the holy name. So giving up all this so-called identity that I am Brahmana, I am high class, he's low class, forgetting all this, finding out who has love for Krishna, who has love for chanting, whoever he is, whatever his caste is born in, try to get dust from his feet, the remnants of food that has touched his lips, and water that has washed his feet. Bhakta pada dhuli, bhakta pada jal, bhakta bhukta avashesh, tini mahabal. So Chaitanya Charitamrita explains three things that can give strength in bhakti. Dust from the feet of Vaishnavas, the Charanamrit that has washed the feet of Vaishnavas, and their remnants. One should be eager. This is the only way. Just like Bhagavatam has the example of Narad Muni. Narad Muni is the perfect example of a pure chanter. He goes around the world preaching. Practically the entire Bhagavatam, Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, you see anyone, they are all disciples of Narada. And Narad's only duty is to keep chanting. Narada Muni Bajaye Veena Radhika Krishna Name. So Narad Muni is going everywhere chanting the names of Radha Krishna. How does Narad Muni get this body? Because in his previous life, he served great souls. And one time, the Bhagavatam explains, taking their permission, he took their remnants with great respect, right? With great respect. And the result is he attained this stage. So pure chanting comes only like this, right? And here he gives an example of a devotee who did this. Kali dase ei rupe duskriti kandana puna tava kripa prapti gaya jagat jana. Kalidas is an example of such a devotee. So this story comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's like an amazing example of Kalidas. So Kalidas, his only aim in life was to take remnants of devotees and to take dust from the feet of devotees. This was his only aim. So practically, it is explained, any devotee in Bengal, Kalidas has taken their remnants. He was so focused on this. This is what he would do. Just like we planned, na, how I should do this, how I should do that. Kalidas' only meditation day and night was, how will I get remnant of this devotee? How will I get remnant of this devotee? One time there is a story. He goes to a house of a devotee called Jadu Thakur. So Jadu Thakur and his wife, they are grastas. So Kalidas goes there and he goes and gives them mangoes. Very lovingly goes and gives them mangoes. So they take mangoes. After eating mangoes, what do? You throw the skin and the seed outside. Kalidas is giving mango and he's standing outside behind the tree waiting. And after some time, when these people throw, Kalidas runs there and eats the remnant. Kalidas did this practically for every devotee in Bengal. This was his record. So when he comes to Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is as a Paramatma in everyone's heart, he knows what is the faith that Kalidas has in the Mahaprasad, in the remnants. So when Kalidas came to Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya was having his prasad and Kalidas was standing outside the window. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looking at Kalidas, he understood why Kalidas is waiting. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Govinda, give my remnants to Kalidas. So because he took remnants of all devotees, Lord identified him and told him, give him my remnants. And every day Govinda would give remnants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Kalidas. And one day the height was when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to have darshan of Jagannath. Generally this system is there in Jagannath Puri right now also. Before you enter, there is a place where you wash your feet. Water continuously keeps flowing. You wash your feet and enter. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was washing his feet, Kalidas, he put his hand in a cupped fashion right below the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in front of everyone, devotees of washing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet, he drank water. One time. Second time he drank water. And third time also he drank water. Generally, anyone who do this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised them left and right. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't tell anything to Kalidas. He didn't tell anything. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that this person has done his role perfectly. So Kalidas is this example of a person who crossed all extents to receive mercy of devotees, breaking their misconceptions into pieces. By your mercy, the people of the world may chant the holy name. So Haridas Thakur's recommendation is this, dust on the feet of devotees, Charanamrit that has washed the feet of devotees and their remnants. So in this way, all misconceptions will go away, and by the mercy of the Lord, one will enter into the holy name. Ami jada buddhi nata ke matra gai nama chintamani tava kabu nai pai. Oh my Lord, my intelligence is dull, stunted and materialistic. I pray that I may once chant the holy name and never really attain the Chintamani jewel, that is Lord Krishna's holy name. So Haridas Thakur is so humble. He's saying, my dear Lord, my intelligence is stunted, dull. How can I understand your holy name? Haridas Thakur is chanting every day 192 rounds, having such realizations. Still he is saying, my dear Lord, I am not experienced. Nama Chintamani Taba Tattva Kabu Nahi Pai. I have still not attained the real jewel of chanting the holy name. Haridas Thakure Nama Vishaye Nishta. Haridas Thakur's faith in the holy name. Kripa Kari Nama Rupe Amar Jivaye Nirantara Nacha Prabhu Dhari Tava Pai. So Haridas Thakur's faith and prayer is, oh my Lord, be merciful and appear on my tongue in the form of the holy name. Kripa Kari Nama Rupe Amara Jivai. Please appear in my tongue. Just like I was telling, we may be chanting the holy name, but in one sense, the holy name actually has not descended in our tongue. The real holy name comes only by the mercy of the Lord. So Haridas Thakur has this mood, my dear Lord, I am chanting, but your real holy name has not descended. So you please appear in my tongue. And what do? Nirantara Nacha Prabhu Dhari Tava Pai. My only prayer is you dance on my tongue constantly, continuously. Kirtaniya Sadahari, Satatam Kirtayanto Ma. I fall at your lotus feet and beg this of you. This is my only prayer. Raka ina lao tar tava icha mata. Yahara raka deha more Krishna nama amrita. Keep me here or take me there. Whatever you do, wherever you place me, please give me the nectar of Lord Krishna's holy name. So here and there means Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains here material world or spiritual world. Keep me here or keep me there. In the material world or spiritual world, it really doesn't matter. My only interest is wherever I am, yaha raka dehe more Krishna namamrit. Give me the nectar of Krishna's holy name. Let me experience that nectar. So this is the mood of a devotee. A devotee is not fearful of being in the material world. Right? So really it doesn't matter for him. Right? So his only prayer is wherever you are, let me keep chanting the holy names purely. Jagajane nama dite tava avatar, Jagajanna maje more kara angikar. You have descended to the world to distribute the holy name. So kindly consider me also as one of those you intend to bless. So you have come in this world to distribute the holy name. Please bless me also. Amita adamma tumi adamma taran ubaye sambandha ei patita pavan. I am the most fallen and you are the deliverer of the most fallen. Amito adamma tumi adamma taran. I am the most fallen and you are known as, I am patita and you are known as patita pavan. So our relationship is established. This is an eternal relationship. I am fallen and you are deliverer of fallen. This is our eternal relationship, O Savior of the fallen. So this is my only hope. I am fallen, but you are the deliverer of the fallen. So please consider my case. Achedya sambandhe tomaya amay yara bale namamrita e adamachai. On the strength of this unbreakable connection between us, this fallen person begs from you to shower upon me the nectar of the holy name. So Haridas Thakur is teaching all of us, what should be the mood, right? So Haridas Thakur is the most liberated soul. He also has this mood. My dear Lord, please shower mercy on me. And then the last part, he explains why is the holy name considered the Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga. Kali Yuge Nama Kena Yuga Dharma Hailena. Why is chanting considered the holy Yuga Dharma? Why not pious deed? Kali Yuge Shuddha Sadhya Anya Shubha Karma Ateva Namashi Haila Yuga Dharma. In Kali Yuga, all other pious deeds except the holy name become ineffective. Therefore, the holy name is the only Yuga Dharma in Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, all other pious deeds, doing Punya Karya become ineffective. It really doesn't work. Therefore, the only name and the only way, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Eva Kevalam. The only way is the chanting. This is the most effective way. So there's a footnote here. The chanting of the holy name is always the best spiritual activity in every yuga. However, in the Kali Yuga, people have no faith to properly execute material pious deeds. Becoming the Yuga Dharma, religion of the age, the holy name descended to the material world and rescued the people of the world from their suffering. So the holy name has been there in every yuga. It's not that holy name is only there in Kali Yuga. In every yuga, holy name is there. In fact, recommended also in every yuga. But in other yugas, because people are little more pious, little more in Sattva Guna, they could also perform pious deed, get some benefit. But in Kali Yuga, people are faithless, right? People don't have any faith, people don't have any piety. So none of the other things work. And in Kali Yuga, especially, the problems are so intense, right? One will find that there is nothing else that works other than holy name. One will desperately take shelter of the holy name. Therefore, the holy name is the only Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga. This is the only thing that works. So this is another reason why one should follow the primary path and not the secondary path. Because the secondary path of pious deeds may take a long time. And Kali Yuga, life is short. Prayena alpa ayusha sabya kalau asmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayor manda bahage upadata. So people in Kali Yuga have short lifespan, lot of issues, lot of problems. So the best effective way, the fastest, the quickest effective way is chanting. Haridas Das Bhakti Vinod ye jane Harinama Chintamani Gaya Akinjana. Penniless Bhakti Vinod, who is a servant of Haridasa's servant, sings this Harinam Chintamani. So we have seen the humility of Haridas Thakur. Now here is the humility of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So he is saying, I am penniless, akinchana. So this is the mood in order to enter into bhakti and chanting, to consider ourselves penniless. Krishna prema dana vina vyartha daridra jivan dasakari vetan more deha premadan. So Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, my dear Lord, without the real wealth of chanting, prema dhana, life is just poverty stricken, basically. This is the real wealth. So please make me your servant, make me your employee, and give me the salary of real chanting, prema dhana. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in this mood, he says, I am the most penniless, who is the servant of Haridasa's servant, sings this Harinam Chintamani. So in this way, we end this chapter. Iti Shri Harinam Chintamano Anya Shubha Karmanam Saha Namna Tulya Jnana Rupa Aparadar Vicharo Nam Ekadasha Pracheda. So in this way, we end the 11th chapter, which discusses this offense called equating the holy name with Anya Shubha Karma, other pious deeds. So the next chapter is a very important chapter, inattention while chanting. So this is actually, I was hearing a small clip of Loknath Maharaj. So Loknath Maharaj also explains that inattention in chanting is the mother of all the other offenses. So the next chapter is a very important chapter for all of us. That we'll try to do from the next time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any questions, any comments? Yeah. 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 Probably at max it can see, because what happens definitely there when it says here, so Ranganathan Guru's question is, can pious deeds take you to Krishna Prema or Krishna Loka? So it's one thing is understood when it speaks about pious deeds here, some amount of bhakti is involved, not Shuddha Bhakti, but Mishra Bhakti. So Mishra Bhakti may not take you to Golok Vrindavan, but it can give you liberation. It can take you to Vaikuntha. So that is possible. No, Vaikuntha is also possible. Even Mishra. So when the element of bhakti is there, and bhakti becomes a little more prominent. So initially, someone may start with Mishra Bhakti where Karma Kand is more prominent. But gradually they may attain purification, they may attain a little more knowledge, and they may increase their prominence of bhakti. So when bhakti becomes prominent, there may be still impurities of karma kand. So such a person may attain Vaikuntha. Right? That's one understanding. And second understanding is that someone who has this kind of karma kanda faith, if by practicing that, what has happened, his heart is becoming purified. So because karma kanda is a recommended path in the Vedas for gradual purification of heart. Right? Your desires get fulfilled, but because you are taking shelter of the Vedic way, gradually the heart is getting purified. So now at some point, if this person comes in touch with a pure devotee, what will happen? His heart is little more pure. So when that faith of Shuddha Bhakti comes, his anartha nivritti will happen very fast.
So he has to come in touch with the
Yeah.
pure devotee, then only it is possible.
Yeah.
Otherwise, only Karmakanda, only 5 minutes cannot be.
Yeah. So this one thing, even I need a little clarification. So there is some little confusion here. I was discussing with Rambhadra Prabhu. So we may need to, even I may need to refine my exact understanding. But yes, what you're saying is correct. That such a person, in order to enter into the realm of Shuddha Bhakti, he needs to come in touch with a devotee, with a pure devotee. Right? Otherwise, this may take a long time. Gradual purification may happen, but he may not be able to get the opportunity to enter into Golok Vrindavan without coming in association